is Jeremy Greenberg. I wanted to thank everyone for joining this webinar. Today we'll review a number of the basic features of Skublox, but then also go into some of the new features that were added over the last year or so since the last webinar, Skublox webinar. Customers have been using it pretty heavily, and as they use it, very often they make suggestions. We take those suggestions to heart and keep on trying to improve, just like with Seller Cloud and our other products. We're constantly trying to improve it, and the customer feedback has really been critical to that. So thank you to the customers who have reached out to us and to suggest things. As the title says, make your team's life easier and your customers happier. So the team's life easier by giving them the tools that makes their job easier. So, reduces a lot of stress and tension, but also makes the customers happier when they don't get the wrong item or get short shipped and things like that, which seems to be a prevalent issue with, with online sales and shipping. Sorting orders and fulfillment can really be a messy business. Like as the slide says, it says, there's errors, there's no accountability or traceability, who touched this order, who picked it, who packed it. We're trying to solve some of those problems with Skublox. Error rates vary. Obviously, some employees are very meticulous and don't make mistakes, but ultimately, industry standard and averages, between 2 or 3% of orders have some type of mistake made in the fulfillment process. What Skublox tries to do is to eliminate that near zero. What is Skublox? So some of the people who are attending the webinar use Skublox already. Bear with me. I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes just for those who are not familiar with it. Skublox is a technology that we developed that has little lights like the one on my desk over here that light up as you scan products, and the light guides people where to put the items. So whether it's where to pick the items from or where to place them as they're sorting through items in the fulfillment process, basically it makes it almost like a thoughtless process of following the lights. And instead of matching SKU numbers or reading product descriptions and things like that, eliminates a lot of mistakes by using this technology. Historically, there have been a lot of put-to-light solutions out there for decades, but they typically are very expensive to implement, take a lot of time to implement. And with this unique technology, which uses a combination of unique hardware and that we developed, and together with software, we're able to make it available and affordable for small businesses. So just for as low as $250 a month, literally within hours, you could have it up and running. And that's unheard of in this type of industry. We even offer a 30-day free trial, which will continue through the month of March. But that's we're basically taking an old idea and a new spin on it with Skublox. So we have two different tracks. Essentially, we have the put to light and the pick to light. So the put to light is basically once orders are picked in bulk off the shelf, which is the most efficient way of picking them off the shelf, they're brought to a sorting area where items are scanned, and then a slot lights up and guides you where to put the item. Each slot is related to an order. And when it's ready to ship, another light lights up and you just scan it and it prints out the shipping label or a license plate label. Pick to light is a little different. It's in the picking process, you have a mobile cart, but it's the same idea. The light's guiding you as you pick the item off the shelf where to place it. And with pick to light, it actually means there's less steps, less hands touching the item before it gets fulfilled. But it really depends on what type of products and various factors, whether you go with put to light or pick to light or a combination of both. But we're going to discuss both of those today. So over here you can see a sort of video demonstration, scanning an item, the light lights up green, he places the item there and scans it to verify or confirm that it's in the right slot. It's as simple as that. People will just scan all the items and it'll tell them where to place them. Each person has their own unique color. This guy's green, so it lights up green, but you could have multiple people doing this process at the same time, each one with their own color. On the other side of the wall, over here, it turns green when it's ready to ship, and he scans it, and then it prints out a label. It's as simple as that. This is sort of a diagram of how it would look if you have multiple people working on it at the same time. You see there's a picking bin, and on one end they're sorting, and on the other end they're fulfilling the orders and shipping them out. Like I mentioned, it's very easy, do it yourself. The items are, the parts are basically designed to fit onto your own shelving, so you don't have to buy custom shelving. You could either attach the lights by Velcro or by zip tie, or screw them into the walls. It also gives you the ability to do it at your own pace, and we do have options to help people who do need additional help, but it's really pretty straightforward, and we can in most cases guide people through the process. So Skublox has, like I said, there's a hardware component. There's also a software component in the form of an app that's used to scan items. That's what we call the sorter app. So the guy who scans the individual products is using that. And as you scan a product, it'll actually show you a picture of the product. And then on the back end, we have what we call the Hub app, which is used for management and also analytics. So we can actually track performance per user, can track various trends. So that's all done through the Hub app. So this is all just a review of the Skublox app for those who aren't familiar with it yet. The key part of this webinar is really focusing on functionality updates. So this has been up and running for over a year. And in that process, we've gotten feedback from customers, and we've tried to turn that around into adding features into the app. And thankfully, the customers have also sort of beta tested some of these features. All the features that I'm describing here are features that are already in use, and they're available to anyone who uses Skublox. So one of the features is basically the Hub app works on a mobile phone, and you can actually do remote control on it. And similarly, you could test lights and do all those things from your phone wherever you are. So you don't actually have to be in the warehouse to monitor it. So over here, you'll see a diagram of, on a smartphone, like an iPhone or such, and you can actually trigger the lights to go on and off through the app, which is a cool feature. And we actually recommend people, as they're, let's say, testing the lights, as they assemble the wall, they can actually flash the slot, which essentially means turn the light on and off remotely through their phone, to just verify that everything's connected properly, and helps with stickering it and labeling the slots. Another major feature that was added was support for serial numbers. So we're going to go through that. Over here, you can actually see it in action, where as you go through the regular process with the sorting app and you scan a product, it'll prompt you for a serial number if that product requires serial numbers. It's just an extra step in the process. But what that means is that we're actually collecting the serial number. So over here, you'll see in the Hub app, you'll see this is an example where the serial number was scanned, and you can actually see it on the Hub app. Usually what happens is after it's actually shipped out, over here we can actually track it to that shipment, and you'll actually see the serial number on the order. So as soon as that gets scanned into Skublox, it's actually tracked on the order level. Serial numbers are obviously important when it comes to expensive items, making sure that the item that's returned is the item that you sold, and for warranties and various things like that, and rebates. Similarly, on SkuStack Lens, which is a warehouse management visualization platform, you can actually see the serial numbers as they're scanned also. Over here, you can actually see the various settings, how to enable the serial numbers. So we added an option to, obviously it has to be enabled on your main account to require or validate serial numbers altogether. And then when it comes to Skublox, you also configure it to prompt for the serial number. And there's an option to either require the serial number to be matching whatever was on the purchase order when you bought those products from your vendor, or you could just collect the serial number even if it's not matching to a purchase order. So we offer both options. Okay, moving on from serial numbers, there's a number of other user experience improvements. We'll go through those. First one is we added an option that within Skublox, you could actually see the location notes related to a product. So over here, you can see, let's say, if the location is added to a product, within Skublox Sorter app, you can actually ask for suggestions, let's say, which product to scan in order to complete the orders that are already in process on the wall. And you'll see the location note, which is helpful. You know, people find that helpful as far as if they need to look for it, if somehow it wasn't in the pick list for whatever reason, or it changed, you know, that was requested by customers. Another option people asked for is, originally when we first released the Sorter app, the first person who was sorting always started off as red. Some people don't like, you know, being the red. So we added an option that you could choose your own color. In this case, you know, the person chose blue. What happens is each user is essentially, as they're working on the same wall, they can be different colors. And when they scan a product, it'll light up their color. So in this case, it'll only show you available colors that no one else on that wall is using. Okay, as far as another feature people asked for is, there's two options when you want to sort with a pick list. So let's say you want to filter what you're sorting to a specific pick list. You could either put in the pick list number, or you could just select from a series of pick lists. So people asked that it should give some basic statistics on the pick list. For example, how many are picked, which ones are unpicked, because in many cases people only want to see within Skublox the pick lists that are already picked. You know, so we added those little statistics over here, which makes it easier if they're just trying to find today's pick list without actually knowing the pick list number. It makes it a lot easier. Multi-sorting. So we have some people who have a lot of orders that have multiple quantities. So in this example, it's 10 units. So instead of having to scan each unit, you know, if you give permission, we gave you the option that you could select those 10 in one shot. So you basically scan the product once, and then you select to bring that up to 10. And over here, we're just showing in the hub how that shows the order that 10 were sorted. We added app switcher to the hub to make it easy to navigate to the SKUstack admin or to SellerCloud. No login is required if you're logged into the Skublox hub. Simply clicking on any links within the Skublox hub to see an order or a product, and the app switcher don't require a separate login. It's all handled under the hood. Another improvement is originally when we were shipping out Skublox starter kits, we were sending out a mini PC, and we expected the customer to get a keyboard and mouse and a monitor. It was a little bit clumsy, much simpler with a touch tablet. You know, it's all in one. The computer and the screen and the interface are all one piece. So we just found that much more a better solution. So we started shipping out with all new starter kits the Microsoft Surface tablet. So that's a nice improvement. Okay, as far as new features, management features on the hub. So if you see over here, you can actually see when an order actually ships. In many cases, people generate a shipping label. In other cases, they'll generate a license plate. So you can actually see those events in the hub because it tracks every step, every interaction with the item. So in this case, you could filter by those events, which is a new filter that we added. And you could actually reprint the license plate. Let's say if the printer malfunctioned or something like that, the administrator could manually do that. Over here, you can see if you wanted to print barcodes for the Skublox, it used to be you could only print all of them at once. And we had a number of customers that have over 100 Skublox set up on a wall. And in many cases, they only wanted to print 1 or 2 or 3 of the barcodes. So over here, we allow you now to select which barcodes you want to print. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, so like I mentioned before, when an order is ready to be shipped, you could, in many cases, they're printing out a license plate. You'll see over here what a license plate looks like. It's pretty much a barcode that references the order. In many cases, companies, they print license plates because they have a different process for actually shipping the order. So once it's all boxed up, they put on the license plate. Once everything's in the same box, and then someone else actually closes the box, or a machine closes the box and scans that license plate number to print the shipping label. So we can print those in both a PDF or ZPL, which makes it easier for these labels to be printed on a Zebra printer. We also added some various printing options to just make it more universal, easier for people to print, whether they're printing, the license plates or whatnot. So see over here the various options, the size of the label stock, formats, various things like that. We try to make it user friendly, so you can choose which way is best, and even on the license plate, which value do you want to print on there? The order number, a special confirmation code, which is like an encrypted number, or the channel order number. Okay, so like I mentioned at the beginning, so we initially started Skublox with put to light, but we actually offer also pick to light. So pick to light requires SkuStack as well, but basically it enables you to pick through SkuStack and never leave the SkuStack application and interact with the Skublox system. So this is just an example a customer sent us of one of their mobile carts, which is battery operated, which has Skublox running on it. But you can really configure it any which way. It depends on the size of the item. Obviously, for smaller items, you'd configure it differently. So over here's an example from within SkuStack, the warehouse management system. You could load up a pick list. As you're picking an order, so over here, let's say you're scanning the bin where the item is, and you're pulling it off the shelf. Where are you placing that item? It's going to suggest that you place that into a specific slot on the wall, and it'll light up. And then you scan it, and then as far as SkuStack is concerned, you've completed that task. You've picked the item and sorted it in the same process. So as people started to use this feature, some suggestions came in. We added also the ability not just to enter the pick list ID to initiate the pick list, but also to be able to search, similar to what we have in Skublox itself, where you could search and see a list of pick lists, see the various statuses on the pick list, so you could, easily find today's pick list, and then start that process. Another feature is slot swapping, or swapping, which is basically swapping the slots. Gives you the ability to override the slot that lights up. So initially, when you scan an item, the system's gonna try to find the most efficient empty slot for it to go into. But if for whatever reason you think that there's a better slot for it to go to that's empty, you can actually override that. So over here, you'll see an example. He's once again picking the item off the shelf, and you'll see the hub is lighting up, and there's one particular slot that it wants him to scan, but he's going to click to initiate the swap, and he'll be able to choose a different slot on the wall and scan that to confirm that it went there. And when you look back at the hub, you'll actually be able to see that a different slot took that item. Obviously, on the wall itself, it's lighting up properly to show physically where the item is. But the hub sort of gives us a virtual representation of what's happening on the wall. So another thing that was worked on is we have some people with a wall, and some of the items that they're sorting are bigger than others. So what we did is we added the ability to set capacities, or basically to designate certain slots for big items, big orders, and other ones for smaller orders. So you can basically say, based on cubic measurements, how big, what are the different size slots that you have, and then you can assign the various capacities to those slots. And then when you scan a big order, item from a big order, it'll automatically choose the bigger one. Typically, people choose to put the bigger items on the bottom. But this sort of shows you how that configuration goes. Another thing, people were trying to, we told our customers that Skublox is going to choose the best algorithm where the items should go. And, people question that, why is it sending me over here? Why is it sending me over there? Typically, we'll try to keep someone in the same area of the wall. What we did is we created a heat map that you can actually review the methodology of us choosing the slots. If you see over here, mostly in this example, they're mostly chosen at the top and in the middle of the wall, simply because it's harder for people to bend down to the bottom of the wall. But and it's showing red and blue because those were people who were logged in as the red user and the blue user. But basically, if you have a scenario where you have multiple people picking, we could actually draw a heat map, and you could see whether you're happy with the way that went. We can make adjustments to it based on that, but we could keep on improving the algorithm as we go along, but this makes it much easier to identify an issue. Another thing we did is we had some requests to do ad hoc interaction with Skublox. So we did open up the API. There's some developer docs on our developer.solidcloud.com. You can see over here someone playing around on the right screen on Swagger, which is like an API tool. And basically, simply through an API, you could turn lights on and off, decide which color they are, and it opens up Skublox to much more possibilities and use cases. So right now, primarily, we're dealing with sorting and picking, but in the near future, we hope to expand on the various features that are related to Skublox. Another thing to mention is, because we're dealing with a physical item, we took the time to get it certified that it's safe, it's not going to catch on fire or anything like that. And we put it through some intense testing by UL and got it listed. So just wanted to mention that, if that's important for some of our customers have insurance requirements and things like that. So we did our homework as far as that. And last but not least, so we made it easy to order the Skublox. You can actually order them directly on the SkuStack store website, but you could contact sales. We have a promotion going on in March as far as 30-day free trial, and there's really no major investment here. It's just mostly investing your time to try it out, which it's just in a matter of hours you can see whether it's something that's going to make a big improvement to your fulfillment workflow. So that's pretty much what I wanted to present today. We're obviously continuing to work on various features, but I'm happy that we're able to share these improvements and keep people informed about all the changes that are being made. One more thing to mention is, in some cases, there's actually a way we added onto the Skublox website, a place where you can sort of figure out how many slots you need depending on your order volume, which might be helpful for people as well. Once again, thanks everyone for joining. So I see one question here about ITF14 barcodes. If you have a case or something like that, can you scan the case barcode? So that's something that we're still working on. Hopefully we'll have that added in the next feature release. Also someone's asking about the mobile cards for the Pictolite. What type of battery does that use? Or but we did a series of tests on some various batteries, and we actually found a pretty inexpensive battery that lasts like 20 hours. So we can make that information available, to anyone who's interested. Just reach out to us. We'll point you in the right direction where to get that. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. And feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. And thank you for your time.